Welcome back to Snetterton, everybody, for our final race of the 2025 season for the Porsche Club Motorsport Championship with Pirelli. We crowned our main champion earlier on today, Jake McAleer. He starts on the outside of the front row of the grid. Ed Hayes had braking issues. That was why he outbraked himself going in towards Oggies, if you're watching the race earlier on. Some sort of issue with the car, which unfortunately put him briefly into the tyre wall. Some light damage to the front of his light blue Porsche Boxster. He did recover, but finished lower down in the race than otherwise he would have wished. But however, this grid is based on their second fastest times from the qualifying session, and therefore he'll be hoping that he might be able to secure what for him would be his first victory of the 2025 championship season. In the AM category, as the cars for that will start further down the grid, it is more than up for grabs as well. 3 drivers separated by just 9 championship points coming into this final race of the season. So Andrew Porter, Wayne Gregory, Shiraz Khan are all in the 330 championship points. It's 339 for Andrew Porter, it's 335 for Wayne Gregory, it's 330 for Shiraz Khan. We do have the possibility that we could tie on points, subject to where fastest laps go, and then we'd have to look at countback. So we'll worry about all of that if we need to, but it is very close in the AM category. The cars are about to head off on their final formation lap, and as they do so, I can guide you through the way that they line up for this 14th and final race of the season here at Snetterton on the 300 circuit. The way that they line up, as we say, is based on their second fastest times from qualifying. On pole position, it's the car of Ed Hayes, and alongside is the newly crowned champion, Jake McAleer. Row 2 of the grid, Simon Clark and Mark McAleer. They are close still for second and third as to who might finish runner-up in the championship. And it's Chris Dyer that has David Burke for company on row number 3. Row 4, ever present on Porsche grids for many a year, is Pete Morris. He has got Stuart Marsden for company. And then on row 5, that's where we see the last of the main championship cars, which is Julian Morris. Alongside him will be the first of the AM class cars, which is going to be Oliver Chatter. Next up, it's Darren Lebet, who is alongside the man who's second in the AM standings in the championship, Wayne Gregory. And then as we move on to the next row of the grid, Shiraz Khan, who's third in the AM category standings, sits alongside the current championship leader in AM on 339 points, Andrew Porter. Barrington Darcy is next up, and he has got Tom Andrew for company. And then it will be Steve Williams that lines up alongside Julian Dye on row number 9. The 10th row of the grid, Jessica Wilkinson and Timothy Harrington. And then the final row of the grid will see Jason Brown line up alongside another driver that is off the rear of the grid for this one, as he was for the race earlier on today. Brian Richardson has his second start from the back of the grid, having had the car fail post-qualifying scrutineering, so he'll be hoping that he might be able to make some progress. So we have sorted out our champion in the main category. We still don't know whether Simon Clark or Mark McAleer might finish second overall in the championship, but the focus on this one will certainly be for what's going on in the AM category. And might we see Andrew Porter lift the crown? Could it possibly be the likes of Wayne Gregory that might lift the crown, or Shiraz Khan? So there's lots to play out over this 25-minute race that will be coming up for you. So there is Andrew Porter. That's the man who leads the championship standings in AM at this stage. He'll be hoping that he might be able to build on what is a slender 4-point lead in the championship, but he does have his 2 main championship rivals ahead of him on the grid, Wayne Gregory and Shiraz Khan, both lining up ahead of the man who's accumulated more points in AM than anybody else so far this season. So we're about to bring the curtain down for the Porsche Club Motorsport Championship with Pirelli for 2025. There'll still be another Porsche race coming up for you if you want to join us later on for that. The final round of the Boxster Cup is timetabled to take place around about 25 to 6. So it's already cloudy. The light's already beginning to disappear. It's going to be almost towards dusk, I suspect, by the time we get the Porsche Boxsters out on circuit a little bit later on. So they're just working their way around the final corners on this formation lap. Still lots of weaving to be done to try and build some tyre temperature. It's turned quite chilly and autumnal out there, so any work you can do to build some tyre temperature into your control Pirelli slick tyres that you run is all going to aid your cause. And we'll also keep an eye as to the progress of Brian Richardson, who is going off the tail end of the order in this one. So Jason Brown, he in his gold car, just working his way through the final corner. Timothy Harrington in the black and the blue car, the silver with the multicolours down the side of it, in the hands of Jess Wilkinson. So they're just about to line up on the grid, and you can already see that the pole sitter is there, the light blue Cayman of Ed Hayes sitting there on pole position. with the black-fronted Jake McAleer sitting alongside. And then we can get this final race of the 2025 championship season underway here at Snetterton. So Ed Hayes was going well in testing yesterday. He was going well in the race earlier on today until that brake issue befell him on the run up towards Oggy. So he'll be hoping that he can finish off the season with the best possible result. He's already had seconds, he's had thirds so far this year, but are we going to see a new winner at the final race of the 2025 championship season? We'll find out in about 25 minutes time, because the 5-second board is held aloft. We'll see the red lights come on the gantry, and for the final time in 2025 we're going racing in the Porsche Club Motorsports Championship with Pirelli. Red lights go off now. It's a good start again from Jake McAleer, but Ed Hayes has the all-important inside line on the run up towards Ritchie's for the first time. Can he hang on to the lead? Jake McAleer's just got his nose ahead, but Ed has the inside line and is going to pick up the lead of the race in the early stages of this one. So it's Ed Hayes that leads from Jake McAleer in second position as they then descend upon the Wilson hairpin for the first time. Heavy onto the brakes. Jake McAleer slots himself through into second place. Simon Clark's in third. Mark McAleer's fourth. David Burke fighting away to try and get his yellow car up into fifth place. And it's Oliver Chatham that has just about the lead of the AM class at this stage, but he's going to wheel with, I think, Wayne Gregory on the run up towards Palmer for the first time. Let's just have a quick look further back at AM and see what's going on. It looks as though it is possibly Shiraz Khan that's taken up the early lead in the AM category. Just coming up towards the braking area for Agostini. Yep, Shiraz Khan it is that leads AM at the wheel of the number 15 car. And remember, he is at the moment lying third in the championship points, 9 points adrift of the championship leader Andrew Porter. When you think there are 25 for a win, plus the extra point for fastest lap and the extra point for pole position, it's all still to play for in this one. So up towards Oggy's they will work their way. Darren Lebet looking to try and squeeze his way through and past Oliver Chatham, but he's got Andrew Porter keeping him company and trying to work his way up the inside. So the AM battle is got all of the front runners right at the sharp end of it. And for the sharp end of the race overall, down towards Brundle and Nelson for the first time comes Ed Hayes, under pressure from Jake McAleer for the lead of the race. It's going to be Simon Clark that's there in third, Mark McAleer in fourth, David Burke in fifth position, and then it's Chris Dyer ahead of Pete Morris that is next up. But for the lead of the AMs just coming through now, Wayne Gregory has the advantage. He's got Oliver Chatham behind him, and Shiraz Khan, who was the early leader in AM, has now dropped down to third in that category. So he'll be hoping that he might be able to make a little bit of progress, having led AM early on. But as we get towards the end of the first lap, he's now dropped down into third position in the AM category and has been picked off by the AM winner from earlier on today, Oliver Chatham. First lap about to be chalked into the book, and Oliver Chatham looking to try and get a run on Wayne Gregory to see if he can pick up the lead of the AM category as they come over the start-finish line. The gunmetal grey car looking to try and squeeze its way through. Chris Dyer also looking to squeeze his way through to gain the place over David Burke as they head round through Ritchie's and up towards the braking area for Wilson. And Chris Dyer's going to be through and up into fifth place here. Yep, so through he goes. David Burke drops down to sixth. Pete Morris is there in seventh place. Stuart Marsden is at the tail end of the championship category at the moment, and queuing up behind them are the hordes of cars that run, the Boxsters that run in the AM class, which is still going to be Wayne Gregory from Oliver Chatham from Shiraz Khan, and then from the championship leader, which is Andrew Porter. There's lots of maths to be done whilst this race weaves its way out, and we also need to keep an eye on where the fastest lap is in the AM category, because that could all be so important, because it is so tight in the championship, as we say, with just what will be 9 championship points separating the top 3 overall in the AM category. And remember, that's 53 Wayne Gregory, 15 Shiraz Khan, and 44 who is the championship leader Andrew Porter. Those are the cars we need to try and keep an eye on. Shiraz Khan running a little bit wide coming out of Hamilton. Andrew Porter is poised and ready to try and squeeze his way through if at all he can. And as they then work their way out of Oggy's and on towards the Bentley Straight for the first time, the front two AMs are just getting away. Oliver Chatham trying to hunt down the leader of the AM category, which is the number 53 car, the Woods Food Services back car in the hands of Wayne Gregory. They start to descend down towards the bottom of the Bentley Straight. The dark blue car with the 2 white stripes down the centre leads AM, which is Wayne Gregory. He is just 4 points off the lead in terms of the championship in the AM category. Oliver Chatham isn't really involved in the championship because he hasn't been around for all of the races, albeit he is very quick indeed, and when he has come out, he is one of the drivers to watch out for. He won the AM category earlier on today, he is scoring championship points, so he can sort of inadvertently take points away from other drivers, which is going to make things very, very tasty as this 25-minute race wears on. Out of Murray's, over the start-finish line, Wayne Gregory still leading the AM category. He's picking up the 25 points at the moment if he can hang on to the win. Oliver Chatham would be on 21 points for second place, but he's now looking for the lead of the AM categories on the outside line as they come up towards Ritchie's. Has he made it through? Yes, he has. Oliver Chatham picks up the lead in AM. Wayne Gregory drops to second, so that loses him 4 championship points compared to what he was on at the start of the lap. So Oliver Chatham will try and make good his escape at this stage. Now, the good thing for Wayne Gregory is that, yes, he might have lost a place, but he's still outscoring those behind him at this stage. But is it going to be enough? That's the question, and it could well be down to where the fastest lap goes in reality as to who is the champion when you consider it's a full season of racing starting way back at Silverstone on the national circuit on the 19th of April, and we still don't know who is going to be our champion in AM for this year. Oliver Chatham, already having taken the lead in AM, is just starting to pull away and is not that far off the coattails of the likes of Stuart Marsden, who at the wheel of the light blue Cayman currently runs in 9th place overall, the ex-Ferrari racer who started the season racing in Class 2, moved up to Class 1 in this Cayman after a substantive accident at Anglesey, which damaged his car and damaged others as well, I'm afraid to say. The likes of Julian Morris, I think, was written off in that accident. Julian is the man who is ahead of Stuart Marsden at the moment, actually, as they start to make their way down the Bentley Straight. So David Burke was under pressure as well. The yellow Cayman had got Pete Morris breathing down his neck. But since taking the lead of AM, Oliver Chatham has pulled away. As we say, Wayne Gregory second in AM would be 21 points. Shiraz Khan third in AM would be 18 championship points. And where is Andrew Porter at this stage? Well, he's going to be something like 3rd, 4th, 5th, maybe 6th in AM at this stage, which would only be 14 championship points. So that is not at all what the championship leader wants at the wheel of the number 44 car. He's got some work to do here. Just carving our way round through Corham and in towards the braking area at the end of the lap. Now, the end of that previous lap, Andrew Porter was 4th in AM, but he has lost out on this lap. He has been picked off by a couple of cars who have squeezed their way through and gained places. So he's got a bit more work to do to try and work his way through the order. One of those cars that picked him off on that lap was going to be the number 56 car, was it not, which is Jason Brown. So there's Jess Wilkinson. She is running 8th in AM at the moment at the wheel of the number 33 car. Now, Oliver Chatham is now fully up with the cars running in the main championship class, which is Stuart Marsden. So through the kink at Hamilton, they will go shortly, but the race leader is not getting away, is he, at this stage? It is still Ed Hayes that leads the way from the newly crowned champion, Jake McAleer. These two were having a good battle in the race earlier on today until those brake problems befell Ed Hayes. They're on lap number 4 at the moment. Jake McAleer with the fastest lap of the race last time through on the first of the flying laps that we've had so far, and is sitting firmly in the slipstream of the race leader. He's not going to be close enough to try anything down at Brundle and Nelson, so it's still Ed Hayes that leads from Jake McAleer, first and second places. Out of Brundle, out of Nelson, up towards the braking area for what will be the bomb hole. Just a slight dab on the brake there is all you need before you pitch the car in towards the corner. And in the AM category, Oliver Chatham is through and past, is he? No, not quite, but he's still sitting on the coattails of the second of the light blue Caymans that we've got, which is Stuart Marsden. And I think now that he's bottled up behind Stuart Marsden, it's just allowing the car of what will be Wayne Gregory to begin to close in again a shade. Shiraz Khan still sitting 3rd in AM. 7th in AM at this stage is where Andrew Porter is, so that would only net him 13 championship points at this stage. So the way things are at the moment, Wayne Gregory is, I think, in the position that he would scoop up the AM Championship, but there's still 16 minutes of this race to go, and there'll be a twist or two in the tail as yet still. Up towards the braking area goes the 52 car of Darren Lebet. He's got Barrington Darcy right behind him. Barrington Darcy will look in his mirrors and see that he's got the championship leader not that far away. And Barrington's had a good exit here coming out of Murray's, sitting right behind the white and the light blue car in the hands of Darren Lebet. Is he going to try something as they head up towards Ritchie's? He jinks for the inside line, but that was more just a distracting tactic than anything else, so he's not able to weave his way through there and pick up the place. And all of this is being watched by no doubt a very frustrated Andrew Porter, who can see his championship aspirations just starting to evaporate slightly in this one. Still a long way to go. We're not even halfway through the races yet. But at the moment, currently Wayne Gregory would finish as the championship winner on what would be 378 championship points. Andrew Porter would drop to second on 374, and Shiraz Khan would be on 370. There'd still only be 8 points separating the top 3 at the end of the championship season. Contact there, and that, I'm afraid, is 2 cars coming together. Barrington Darcy gets into the side of Darren Lebet. That's unfortunate for those two, but that is a big help to Andrew Porter, who was right behind those 2 cars and has now picked up 2 more places as he had to weave his way past the incident. So those 2 cars coming together. A rather disappointed look from Darren Lebet, who strolls away from his stricken car, raises his hands in frustration. And Barrington Darcy, I think, will park the car up as well, because there's surely going to be a big chunk of damage to his car, I'm afraid. We've had a change for the lead as well. Jake McAleer has gone through to pick up the overall race lead from Ed Hayes. So it is the newly crowned champion now that leads as they come over the start-finish line. Those 2 stricken cars, though, up at Agostini are not that far off the racetrack, so they're being covered by localised yellow flags for the moment. Race control will have a look at it and deem whether localised yellows are sufficient. Now, for the moment, it is just localised yellow flags, but if they deem that they're not in a safe place, that could well bring about a safety car period. Now, that is not going to be good for the likes of our current man who is leading the championship if things were to stay where they were, which is Wayne Gregory, because then that means everybody catches him back up again, so he'll be hoping it stays green. Andrew Porter, having gained those 2 places now, that moves him up through the order. He started that lap 7th in AM, and as he comes over the start-finish line, he finishes that lap 5th in AM. So that now scoops him up an extra few championship points. And who is he now trying to wiggle his way through and past? It's Shiraz Khan, one of the drivers that is involved in the championship battle at this stage. Can he squeeze his way through? Shiraz has to go defensive on the run in towards the braking area for the Wilson hairpin. Hit your marks, try not to run wide on the apex. He doesn't quite apex as well as he would wish. That gives a glimmer of hope for Andrew Porter, but he's now on the right hand side of the circuit. That's the outside line as they head up towards Palmer, so Shiraz Khan just keeps his nose ahead as they head around through that section of the circuit. And as they now work their way in towards the braking area for Agostini, there'll be no overtaking down through there due to the incident that's happened, and we are going safety car, I'm afraid. So the safety car is coming out onto the circuit. We can see the safety car boards flashing, the marshals waving their yellow flags, and with the stricken car of Darren Lebet with where it's come to rest, that is deemed not to be in a safe place, which doesn't surprise me, to be honest, because it's a bit in the firing line. If anybody sort of outbrakes themselves going into that area, then that car is not at all in a safe position. Whereas for Barrington Darcy, the other one that was involved, at least he was able to drive his car into a safer position closer to the barriers. So 12.5 minutes to go, halfway point of the race, with Jake McAleer having picked up the lead of the race on the previous lap from Ed Hayes. He will look to try and just utilise this to maintain a bit of Pirelli tyre temperature, but also it sort of helps him not take too much life out of the tyres. The 997 is a heavier car than the Cayman, so it does use its tyres that little bit heavier and a bit harder, and you only get 1 set of tyres in Class 1, the main championship class, for the weekend. So the Hyundai Ioniq 5 safety car out on circuit. Our 2 drivers, Darren Lebet and there is Barrington Darcy, out of their cars. Disappointed with the way that the final race of the season has gone for them, but hopefully they'll be back for another full campaign in 2026. So let me run you down through the order then whilst we remain under safety car at this stage. Jake McAleer leads the way from Ed Hayes in second place, and it's Simon Clark who's there in third. Mark McAleer is fourth, ahead of Chris Dyer in fifth place, and Darren Burke completes the top 6. Then it's Pete Morris that is in seventh place, ahead of Julian Morris that's there in eighth place. Stuart Marsden is ninth, and he's the last of the main championship class cars at this stage. 10th place is the leading AM class car that we have, which is the number 69 car of Oliver Chatham. Wayne Gregory is second in AM. Third in AM is going to be the car of Jason Brown, who's there third in AM. Fourth is Shiraz Khan. Fifth in AM is going to be the car of Andrew Porter, and completing the top 6 in the AM category will be the number 33 car in the hands of Jess Wilkinson. So those are the top 6 So at the moment, I think leading now the championship is going to be, well, it's shuffled round with Andrew Porter having gained places now, so he is now on 5 championship points, sorry, on 5th place. That'll be 15 championship points. Crumbs, this is going to be close. I think there's only a couple of points in it now, so again, need to do the maths, I think, on that one. The way it stands at the moment, it's Wayne Gregory that would win the championship by 2 championship points from Andrew Porter, so it would be 3.78 for Wayne Gregory, it would be 3.76 for Andrew Porter, and 3.68 for Shiraz Khan, so there'd still only be 10 points separating the top 3. Now for Andrew Porter, say he is at the moment running in 5th position. If he can get past Shiraz Khan to 4th, that gives him 1 extra championship point, so he'd still come up short. But the fastest lap at the moment is going the way of Oliver Chatham, so if Andrew Porter can gain a place and get the fastest lap, he would then tie on points, and then you'd have to look at count back in reality, and I think they are both on at this stage. 1 win apiece. Andrew Porter would win it based on 4 second places compared to 1 second place for Wayne Gregory, but that does rely on Andrew Porter gaining a place and getting the fastest lap of the race as well, so it is so close. The dynamic could change at any time in this race, and at some point we're going to get green flag racing back underway, because we can see that the recovery trucks were out there. They were dealing with the stricken car of Darren Lebet, and then we'll have to wait and see as to how much green flag racing we're able to get back underway for this final race of the championship season. So it's really the AM category that is where we need to be looking at the moment. It looks as though Simon Clark is heading towards 2nd in the main championship category, because he is 2nd in that, and he is running ahead of his championship rival Mark McAleer, so they're 3rd and 4th respectively in this race. So Simon Clark looking as though he's going to close in on runner-up spot in the main championship category, but wow, we just can't call it at this stage. Anything could happen. 8.5 minutes still to go. Clock still continuing to tick. 7 laps now have been completed. The grey car with the green bonnet, Oliver Chatham, is the leader of the AM category of this race. But behind him on circuit is Wayne Gregory, who mathematically at the moment is just in the stronger position of the 3 main championship rivals. So hopefully when the cars go round past Agostini this time, the recovery has almost been completed. They'll need to winch the car onto the back of the flatbed recovery truck. The one good thing is that there is a little gap just in the barriers before the entrance to Agostini, a gate there, and that's where the recovery truck will go back to, so it won't have to reverse or turn far from its position to get back behind the barriers. But until it's back behind the barriers and that's radioed into race control so that they know the circuit is clear, will still remain under safety car at this stage, and we haven't as yet, I don't think, got the car fully cleared out of harm's way. So there's Darren Lebet just watching the cars go by. Disappointing end to the season for him. So there'll be this lap for sure behind the safety car. I think there'll be another lap thereafter before we're able to get things fully back underway. And by the time the safety car, if it were to complete another lap, would be down to something like just 5 minutes of racing remaining. Rest assured, the officials working as quickly as they possibly can to get these cars out of harm's way. Barrington Darcy's, they'll probably leave where it is because it was right the way up against the edge of the grass towards the tyre wall, so that was sufficiently, I would have thought, far out of harm's way, so not to cause concern for race control. But with Darren Lebet's car where it was, very little choice but to deploy the safety car, and the safety car is already heading underneath the Dunlop Bridge, so underneath the bridge down at the bottom of the Bentley Straight, so I think we'll have a further lap behind the safety car, because I just can't see that the recovery is going to be concluded in time for the safety car to come in at the end of this lap. Lap behind the safety car is taking over 3 minutes. About 3 minutes and 20 seconds was the last lap that the safety car did. This lap will be of a similar pace, and once the safety car knows that it is going to be coming in, the lap prior to that, it will speed up a little bit, so it'll be a shorter lap just before the safety car comes in, because it will be able to up its pace, but that is only once confirmation has been given from race control that the circuit is clear. So we've almost got Darren Lebet's car onto the back of the recovery truck. A little bit of strapping down just needing to be done to one of the wheels to prevent it bouncing around, and then a quick spin around on the recovery truck and back into the gate at Agostini. Should see it out of harm's way, but it's going to be one further lap, I'm afraid, behind the safety car, And as it comes over the start-finish line, we'll keep an eye. The clock is showing that there's 5 3/4 minutes to go, but this is going to be over 3 minutes behind the safety car, so we're going to be down to maybe 1-2 laps further of racing. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to do that lap behind the safety car. So yeah, by the time we add, you know, it's going to be a quicker lap when it comes in, so let's say it's going to be 2 minutes and 45 seconds behind the safety car. We're still only going to get 2 racing laps in, I think, so it's going to be nip and tuck. The pressure is going to be on, and for Wayne Gregory, is he going to be able to hang on to what is the slenderest of championship leads at this stage? If I've got the maths right, just 2 championship points separating him from Andrew Porter with where they are out on track at the moment. That is Wayne Gregory running 2nd in the AM category and Andrew Porter running 5th in the AM category at this stage. And any small slip up from them, Shiraz Khan is poised as well, because he's only, what's that, 8 points off Andrew Porter and 10 points off the lead. So it's all going to play out in the next 5 minutes or so as to where the AM category championship for this year is going, and are we going to see, as we have done so many times in the past, drivers that win Class 2 or win AM or win Class B, it's been called all of these things over the years, are we going to see them step up to the main class for next year? We'll find out. So Jake McAleer leading the pack, 8 laps already completed, onto their 9th lap of the race, with Oliver Chatham, the leader of the AM category, number 53 car of Wayne Gregory at the moment in the box seat in terms of the championship scoring. But as we say, any change of position is almost going to affect where the championship is going to go in this one. And if we get a fastest lap of the race, now that everything's cooled down and the tyres are back in the sweet spot, that extra point for fastest lap could play a pivotal role in who wins the championship this year. So onto the Bentley straight. Safety car will thread its way. Should see the lights extinguished either down in towards Brundle and Nelson, or maybe just on the approach towards the bomb hole. When the lights get extinguished, that's when we know the safety car will be coming in. Confirmation on our timing screens also that the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And as long as we have more than a couple of minutes to go, when it peels its way into the pit lane, we get the race back underway. We should get 2 racing laps out of this one, so I think we are good to go. So the last little bit of weaving round being done from Jake McAleer. Of course, when the safety car peels its way into the pit lane, it's up to Jake then as to when he wants to get things going again. So he's backed right up behind the safety car at the moment. Safety car will try and accelerate its way ahead, and then Jake McAleer will just control the pace of the pack. And then when he decides he wants to plant his foot on the accelerator, we'll get the race back underway. So safety car lights are off. It accelerates its way away from the pack. Jake McAleer now controlling the pace at the front. And his best bet will probably be to ensure that when he heads up towards Murray's, when he hits that accelerator, he hasn't got to lift back off again. So he goes for it now on the exit of Murray's and gets a good restart. Ed Hayes is going with him as they come over the start-finish line, and they'll be on to their penultimate lap of the race this time through. Good restart from Jake McAleer. Ed Hayes in 2nd place. Simon Clark's not that far away from him, though, in 3rd position. Mark McAleer in 4th place. Chris Dyer and what will be David Berg complete the top 6 as they thread their way through Ritchie's this time through. For the lead of AM, it's still Oliver Chatham that's got the jump over Wayne Gregory. Oliver Chatham not in the championship hunt because he hasn't done every round so far this year. But as we say, he is scoring 25 points, and that's taking points away now from those behind, which makes it even tighter because there's larger point gaps between 1st and 2nd and 2nd and 3rd than when you start to head further down through the order. It almost becomes a single point per position difference. So Oliver Chatham and Wayne Gregory still there. Wayne Gregory has got the pressure on him though, because Jason Brown is not that far away, and Jason Brown at the wheel of the bronze coloured car. Is he going to have a nibble here on the run up towards the braking area for Agostini? That is not what Wayne Gregory wants. Now, he will not want to get overtaken by that car, because at the moment Jason Brown is acting as a bit of a buffer between himself and the next 2 cars behind, which is the white car of Shiraz Khan, followed by Andrew Porter in the black car with the white flashes down the centre of it. So up towards the braking area for Oggies. Shiraz Khan trying to squeeze his way through and up into 3rd in AM. Did he make it stick? No, he didn't. It's still the bronze car with the green wheels that sits there in that position. So they work their way out of what is Williams and onto the Bentley straight. Jason Brown desperate to see if he can muster his way through, and he'll inadvertently get involved in the championship squabble, because that takes points away from Wayne Gregory if he can get the move done. Well, he's running out of time and opportunities because there's only a few more corners on this lap and then 1 more lap to go in the 2025 racing season for the Porsche Club Motorsport with Pirelli AM Championship. Through the bomb hole, up towards Coram. Oliver Chatham starting to pull away all of the time in the lead of AM at this stage. Gregory has to stay really in second place to ensure that he's just done enough to lift the title, but the pressure is still going to be on because Jason Brown, any opportunity to work his way through, absolutely he's going to grab that with both hands if he can. Wayne Gregory has enough daylight at the moment so as not to worry down the start-finish line, the Senna straight, and up towards Ritchie's corner. So onto the last lap of the race they'll go. We still don't know what's going on. Andrew Porter's going to gain a place over Shiraz Khan, and is Wayne Gregory going to lose a place to Jason Brown on the run up towards Ritchie's? No, not quite. Wayne Gregory still hangs on to second place. Third is Jason Brown, but up to fourth now comes Andrew Porter. So he's picked up an extra championship point from climbing from fifth to fourth. Has anybody bettered the fastest lap of Oliver Chatham as yet? No, because he just bettered it himself that time through with a 2-minute 9.185. So he's going to pick up the extra championship point for the fastest lap. So I think at the moment, again, if I've got the maths right, Andrew Porter is going to miss out on the championship by one single point from Wayne Gregory at this stage. But Andrew Porter is still going to try and first of all catch up with the next car ahead of him, which is going to be Jason Brown. He's still got to defend from Shiraz Khan, who sits directly behind him. So these four cars fighting over second, third, fourth and fifth in the AM category are largely going to decide where the top three places go in AM. The only one that's not involved in the championship squabble is the bronze-coloured car of Jason Brown, who is third in the race overall and second of the four cars that are fighting for position. Onto the Bentley Straight. Looks as though Andrew Porter is going to get a good exit heading onto the Bentley Straight. If he can squeeze his way through and ahead, that is going to make things very interesting indeed, because Wayne Gregory is now only 1 point ahead in terms of the championship scoring. So Andrew Porter has got to try and get past Jason Brown's car, and he's only got three corners in which to do so really, which is going to be the bomb hole, it's going to be Coram, which isn't really an overtaking spot, and then up towards Murray's corner. And maybe the run to the flag could offer up a possibility as well. So out of the bomb hole for the final time. The win this year is going to go the way of Jake McAleer, who claims the win from Ed Hayes and Simon Clark, together with Mark McAleer. Top four cars separated by 1.4 seconds. But where is the AM Championship going? Because they head up towards the braking area at Murray's, and Andrew Porter dives up the inside of Jason Brown and takes the place away, and that could be absolutely vital for his championship scoring. He's left it until the very final corner on the very final lap of the season. Jason Brown is trying to fight back on the run to the line, but as they come over the start-finish line, Oliver Chatham will win the AM category in this race. Wayne Gregory finishes in second position, but Andrew Porter, with that overtake at the final corner, I think possibly may have now equalled the points of Wayne Gregory. And if that is the case, we then need to look towards the count back and look at how many wins have been taken from each, how many second places have been taken from each, and then from there, if needs be, how many thirds and how many fourths, and so on it continues. But Andrew Porter, having redone the maths, by one single point is, subject to official confirmation, your Porsche Club Motorsport Championship with Pirelli AM champion for this year by one single point. And after a full season of racing, 14 races, all the way from the 19th of April to the 11th of October, it comes down to literally an overtake at the final corner on the final lap of the final race of the 2025 season to decide who is our AM champion. What a way to win it for Andrew Porter. I'm sure Wayne Gregory will be enormously disappointed, but he'll also have to appreciate that he came into this weekend lying second in the championship. He knew he'd got work to do. He did as best as he possibly could. And as it was, he didn't do anything wrong. It was Andrew Porter, that final place. That was what tipped the balance in his favour. So let's confirm some results for you then for the final race of the season for the Porsche Club Championship with Pirelli, the main championship category and the AM category. Just to confirm our overall results for you. We crowned a champion earlier on today, which was Jake McAleer. It is Jake McAleer that wins the race. Sorry, we got 11th to 19th backwards on the results. Second is Ed Hayes. Third is Simon Clark. Fourth is Mark McAleer with Chris Dyer there in fifth position. Pete Morris in sixth. Then it's David Burke in seventh and Julian Morris in eighth place. Stuart Marsden was ninth. Oliver Chatham completed the top 10 and won the AM category in terms of that race. Then as we head outside of the top 10 into 11th position, it's Wayne Gregory that finished in 11th position, but Andrew Porter 12th place overall, 3rd place in AM. If I've got my maths right, 1 single point he claims the championship by. Jason Brown was in 13th, Shiraz Khan was 14th. 15th place went the way of the number 42 car of Steve Williams, with Timothy Harrington next up. Jess Wilkinson was a couple of laps adrift in 17th place. And then, of course, we know of the 2 retirements, Darren Lebet and Barrington Darcy, coming together and bringing about that safety car period. Well, what a climax to our season. Brilliant racing from Porsche Club Motorsport with Pirelli. That's their championship done and dusted, but you can join us for the Porsche Boxster Cup final race of the season at around about 25 to 6 here later on today at Snetterton. So from everybody here and Porsche Club GB, we'll say goodbye for the moment. We'll catch you for the Boxster Cup later on. Cheerio. So welcome back to Snetterton, everybody. We've got our pit stop race coming up for you shortly for the GT Cup Championship. We saw a sprint race earlier on today, which was secured in fine fashion by Mark Smith at the wheel of the McLaren. And that is now his 5th win on the trot, so he'll be more than pleased with that one. Of course, for Fraser Fenwick and Charlotte Gilbert and Top Cats Racing, 2nd place for them in the race overall, but a win, more importantly, in Group GTC puts them in a very strong position in this championship. With Peter Ursig was 3rd, 4th was Darren Kell, 5th was Frank Morris. There was a great battle earlier on today, if you were watching it as well, in Group GTH, Innovation Racing with Cresta and Hadley Simpson. We were told was driving that one, but the results now suggest that it was Luke Bennett that was behind the wheel of that one. So apologies if we're referring to Hadley Simpson in the race. That was the starting driver I was given at the time. Great battle, though, was being had with Owen Hizzy and also Archie Clark in the Feathers Motorsport Aston Martin. Those 3 again will lock horns to see as to who